Hey guys, so I'm going to be doing my artist presentation on Phil Rogers, who is a really famous ceramicist. First of all, I just wanted to say I'm sorry that I can't be in the Zoom class with you guys. I'm working 40 hours a week now, and it's during the day, which is super inconvenient, so I hope this makes up for it, and I miss you all. And yeah, here we go. So this is Phil Rogers. Get ready. He lives in a place in Wales that has beautiful scenery. He says he tries to use resources from the land as much as possible, but it's not always easy to come by. For instance, he finds slip in the ground, but it's not always as malleable as clay, but he can typically find a way to incorporate it within his work. So, a little bit about him. He's traveled the world giving lectures, doing workshops, demonstrations on his work. He's also written a few books that are really popular on ceramics. Um, and he has a 65 cubic unit foot oil fired kiln for stoneware and a 40 cubic unit foot kiln for salt glazing. So Roger says he does appreciate contemporary art in some forms, but he really thrives with traditional thrown pottery techniques. He has many influences, which are largely inspired by Korean pottery and some Japanese work, and other things such as German salt glaze, American slip stoneware, and pots made by German and Dutch immigrants. A lot of his glazing style is incorporating the way that he throws. So he's not huge on decoration and typically uses his fingers or designs to make marks on the pot and then uses the glaze to kind of bring out the depth of the marks that he's made. Something that he said is really important to him within making pottery is that he's always trying to challenge himself and that he's never feels like he's at the point where he's like, wow, I've really made it at this point. I can stop now. He says once you get to the point where you're not growing and creating different crazy things, you can just give up because that's not the point of creating art. And he also has mentioned that in colleges, he's really disappointed by the fact that students are doing more abstract work and kind of not appreciating the basic or the techniques that are the basics within throwing. Um, and that a lot of the times that he sees student work and he thinks it would be better made in a factory, and that like fashion, hopefully it'll come full circle and be more popular again at some point. In one of his novels, he talks about salt glazing and how it kind of creates a deeper sense of self exploration for him. He believes that a connection to your piece is really important, or else it doesn't really have any kind of meaning behind it. It could be just a pot, but there's no story. He mostly makes functional pieces such as cups, plates, bowls, traditional kind of cupware, dinnerware, as you call it. Um, he also has made slab work before because within his age, he's felt as though his back and hands have gotten worse and worse. And using slabware to create functional pieces kind of gives him a break from the wheel and gives his body kind of a rest from being in that vulnerable position at all times. He wants people to kind of understand that being a ceramicist involves a lot of hard labor, and that the drawback in this profession is that there's so much that can go wrong in every stage. You know, with a wood fire kiln, if a certain pot isn't placed in the correct spot, it either the temperature is too high, it affects the glaze, maybe it doesn't reach the fire enough, and just every time you unload it, you don't know how it's gonna turn out. And on top of all the physical aspects to it, there's just an amazing amount of knowledge that goes into the science behind creating it. The glaze mixture is dealing with fire, temperatures, and just basic physics. It really is a lot of information for one person to retain, and obviously, as you do it for a long time, you get better at it, but a lot of people don't understand that there's so much more to just playing with clay all day. At this point, he's been crafting for well over 35 years, and I think it was 2016. At that point, he's made over 150,000 pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to leave you with a quote from him, and then after this, I'm going to be showing you some pieces that he's made. So he states, I'm not a potter attempting to make a social or political statement. Rather, I'm trying with the best of my ability to provide an audience with work that has beauty, grace, and function, while at the same time furthering a tradition that I am happy and comfortable to be a part of. So beautiful. guys. So I'm an idiot and I watched Dawn's paper folding videos and thought that that part of the assignment was to just make our own in like a playful way, not inspired off the artist that we researched. So that's gonna be a little late. I'm sorry, but I'll make that up. But I might as well show you what I made in the meantime, just because if you're interested in watching. So I made 5 of them actually. So I basically just like looked at geometric shapes and just tried to kind of copy that and see what I came up with. This is the first one I made. Didn't turn out too bad, but isn't like super visually pleasing. Yeah. Second one I made came out a little better, a bit more symmetrical. Kind of reminds me of like a salt lamp or something, which might relate to my artist because he also enjoys salt. This is the third one I made, which is the most successful. Kind of looks like one of those like finger trap toys, which was not intentional, but I actually really like how this one turned out, surprisingly. And then I tried to experiment more with like cutting into it, creating different shapes. This one actually just looks like something that you find out of the trash, so I'm not super pumped about this one. Like what is that? I don't know. So not the best one. And then I made a bunch of cones from our last one to try to do a completely different shape. I think this could be something cool if it was sturdier and maybe had more to it. But yeah, I just wanted to try something a little different than the geometric things that I was doing. But yeah, anyway, that's what I made. Hope you enjoy. See you later.